I'm Eddie Cannell.
And I'm Tom Cannell.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Mortgage Brothers Podcast Show, and today we are talking about, choosing a lender. What are the 5 top things you need to know before you start choosing a lender?
So depending upon where you are in the state, it's like a state of mind or position in life. At one point you'll be thinking, okay, I've got to pick a lender. Like, what the heck do you do? And I feel like we've done another podcast similar to this. Some people don't have, an uncle or an aunt or a grandparent or a parent to go to and say, hey, can you help me pick a lender? So this is to help you figure out what are the top 5 things to know before picking a lender.
That's right. And, I think that we were brainstorming before the podcast like we do a lot of the times. And I think a lot of our customers right out of the gate, when they are searching, right? And those of you listening, when you're searching for a lender, a lot of you are just going online, right? It's one of your first instincts is just to go online and start searching. And it may have been the way that you actually found this podcast. It probably is. But my point is, you went online, and a lot of times it's the rate. You're looking for rates. You're asking, hey, what's the best rates today? And you're looking that way. What we want to do is prioritize and help you kind of prioritize the order of that to-do list. What do you need to know first? And the first thing, and I'm gonna say this: the rates are great, and a lot of you are right. You're starting your searches with rates, but let's start first before anyone quotes you anything. The question is do they have a good reputation? Are they trustworthy? Because no matter what they quote you or whatever they tell you, do they follow through? I mean, like, if they don't have a good reputation, whatever they do tell you, how can you trust they will actually follow through? So the number one thing on our list is making sure the lender has a great reputation and has reviews that you can see that other people, like your peers, have actually seen and are actually written about the lender.
Yeah, and I would say when you and I were going through this podcast, bouncing these ideas off of, I think even you and I started going towards maybe rate. Maybe rate is the most important thing because it is so important in the process. But what we realize is just because it's super important doesn't mean it's the most important thing. So what we're going to be telling you today is, like you just said, the reviews, the reputation. What brand do you feel comfortable with? That's what people, will typically go through or go to. Who do I bank with now? All that means to you is you're looking for the reputation. Who can we trust? So that's a big, big, big thing, okay?
Because you have to trust someone first. You have to really trust them first because because what they tell you, you have to trust what they're telling you because no matter what they tell you, if they have a bad reputation, forget about what they're telling you.
Yeah.
You can't trust them.
That's
okay,
right.
Okay,
yeah. So that's number one.
Okay,
reputation, trust, in reviews. Look at those things very, very closely. All right, what is next?
Okay, so the next most important thing is, are they responsive in communicating to you? Right? Are they personable?
Right.
If you call them up, are they calling you back at a reasonable time or emailing you back and?
I actually did a little case study and tried to reach out to some lenders a while back. It was incredible. I was like, hello, anyway, it was amazing. And then when you did get somebody or something, it was all computer.
You mean you were calling a couple lenders, filling out forms,
saying
trying to get trying to.
What would
someone to call you back?
Yeah, just so I could do a little studying for my clients. What are the experiences out there? It was not good. I was actually shocked that it was not that good. So responsiveness, is there a person? Are they personable? Do you can you interact with them? Do they sound like a robot, even if they are a person? So being responsive and being personal, because you're gonna especially on a purchase, you'll be working with this person for a while. So make sure that that's part of it.
And the reason why it's so important is if the lender is having a hard time communicating and getting back to you quickly or really answering your questions early on in this process before the sale's even done, right? You're trying to get information. If they're communicating poorly to you now, they will certainly be communicating to you poorly through the whole transaction.
Yeah, and
it's just going to
And as life says, as it starts, it finishes. Easy come, easy go. No response now, no response later. It will just carry through the entire process.
Yeah. And as busy as lenders are, it's okay if, lenders will be busy. We've been busy. Everyone's been busy. But the point is that we should at least, the great lenders are calling you back and at least telling you, we're going to, do you mind if we get back to you? I got your message here a couple minutes ago. I'm going to get back to you here shortly.
Yeah.
Just communicating. Just communicate everything.
Exactly. I always try and find out, the urgency. Give me a timing variable so I can shoot for it and I can tell you, what I'm going to be able to do. All right. So the next one. This is the third one that everyone knows about.
All right. So this is the third one. So now that a lender has a good reputation, if they pass that test and they're responsive and all that, now you're asking, what is their interest rate? Now you can actually ask that what their interest rates are, and again, so what's the interest rate?
Yeah, and guess what? If we were super responsive and we had great reputation and great reviews, which we do, but we had high interest rates, we wouldn't be in business. I mean, it doesn't matter how nice you are, how many reviews you have. You've got to have super competitive rates. But it was interesting when we were talking about this. Even though it's super, super important, it's not the one. But it definitely has to be there. So so make sure that rate is as competitive, as everything else that you've potentially seen out there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that we can go right to the number 4. The fourth thing that you need to know before choosing lender is the closing costs. In fact, the closing costs, you were making this analogy on this teeter-totter between interest rate and closing costs. You want to just tell people about that?
Yeah. So, I always tell people that when they'll call up, they'll usually ask me, what's your interest rate or what's your closing costs? I always say you really need to ask those questions at the exact same time, because what most lenders do is like a teeter-totter, they will try and tell you that they're quoting an at-par price. But it usually one end or the other is high, meaning if you can quote a lower interest rate if you push up on the closing costs, okay? Or if someone calls in and says, hey, what are your closing costs? You can push the closing costs down and make the interest rate go up. Yeah. So you really have to ask those at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. And to get a good apples-to-apples comparison, and again, we'll be glad to help you with that. But those are the two probably biggest questions, and you got to ask them at the same time.
Yeah, because they are directly tied to each other.
Correct.
Okay. So, and again, this is the fifth thing that I think that we really do feel is that makes a strong case for choosing a lender is the lender being local. Do they live in at least the city, the area that you live? It's so important having a lender who knows. They don't have to know your neighborhood, but they have to at least know what makes your city work, the area. Because when it comes to financing, there are things that do matter. When appraisals are ordered, appraisal comes in low. Well, we know the area, and so do anyone out there who's local in their community as lenders. They will know what works and what doesn't work,
and what does work
best for their community.
Two examples. I've got a person coming in from out of state, and they don't know what the market is right now. So to have a lender, boots on the ground, so to speak, that will know and help them. Again, I don't know, everything about pricing, but I can tell them that the number that they came in for on a pre-qual was too low. And so we worked to figure out what that number needed to be. That's example one. Example number two, we have a lot of retirement communities out here. Those retirement communities have certain things about them with either facility, community facility districts or capital improvement fees that are paid upon transaction transfers, or I guess just transfers of any type of property. And an outside lender is going to have no idea about that stuff.
Right.
So those are two just little simple examples of why a local presence would certainly be a benefit to you.
Absolutely. Okay, so these are the 5 top things to know before you choose a lender. And if you have any questions for us, be sure to email us, call us. And if you like what we're doing here with this podcast, be sure to subscribe, click the notification button, and that like button. Tom, anything else?
I think that'll do it, folks.
All right. Everyone have a good day.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Mortgage Brothers podcast. Please let us know if you have any questions you'd like us to answer. You can email your questions to team@azmortgagebrothers.com. And be sure to ask us for a free quote on your next mortgage. We'll be sure to give you personalized service and help you through the whole process.
Signature Home Loans, LLC does not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Signature Home Loans, NMLS 1007154, NMLS number 210917 and 1618695, Equal Housing Lender.